as Mr. Westbrook said, it's the first time having to say after my name worked not in my favor. But it's all about stories, I guess, tonight, and it's really cool to hear all the stories. Where's Schultze? You look better with a crew cut. Only kidding, Scott. Kid has a heck of a shot. If you guys can indulge me for a minute, I may cry. But first, a lot of people here, Mary just said it's about the kids, but got a lot of players here from youth. My high school team has honored me to come tonight. And so if you guys could stand up real quick so everybody could see it. Thanks, fellas. I really appreciate you coming. Again, if you can indulge me while I read this letter, and if you can think about my good friends, Ron Maloney, Kevin Moore, and Pete Carriola, who are not with us anymore. This was a letter from February 4th, 2008, to Honor and Michael Bingham. Dear Honor and Michael, I can't imagine the terrible loss you must feel at the passing of Adam. It has taken me a few weeks since I saw you at his service to put my sadness into words, and I'm sorry for not writing you sooner. I've enclosed an Atlanta Youth Lacrosse jersey. While it's not the same color Adam wore when he played in our league, I thought it was fitting for you to have. The interesting thing about this jersey is when I was driving home from Adam's service that evening, I called Mary Jo and I asked her to pull an AYL jersey out of the pile in our basement. When I came home that evening, it was on my desk, folded. I noticed it was number 18, Adam's number. At no time did I tell Mary Jo what number Adam wore in high school. All I asked her to do was pick out a jersey. Ironically, it was the first jersey she pulled from the pile of about 50 jerseys. I think this was Adam and God's way reaching down to Mary Jo and allowing her to pick his number so he could give it to you. I also wanted to let you know that we're putting Adam's initials on the helmet stickers for all of our youth players this year to honor him and his memory. His initials will be alongside of Andrew Oswald, Tyler Cross, Parker Jackson, Lou Gabati, Alex Calloway, players that I've coached from our youth program and at camps and clinics. Again, I am saddened by your loss, and I only hope you will feel somewhat comforted in knowing that you couldn't have been more caring and supporting parents. His life was a blessing to all who had the privilege to know him. With deepest sympathies, Mary Jo and Lou, lest we forget. Thank you. So now we get to talk about me. There are many people that need to be thanked tonight, and I'll start from the beginning. Ed Stedronsky, who nobody in this room knows, for cutting me from baseball and allowing me to find my true passion, lacrosse. Mr. Rowcroft and Mr. Burns, my high school coaches. Mr. Krumholz, my football coach, who to this day I'm still afraid he's going to cut me. And to Tommy Howard. I have to give you a story about Tommy. Mary Jo says I like to cook, and when I was in high school I weighed about 150 pounds. And that was with rolls of quarters in my pockets. And we were playing Freeport High School, which the year before was the defending champions of Nassau County in our first crossover game of the season. And I was the smallest guy on the team, and Tommy was such a motivator that he asked me to lead the team out into the field from our locker room at West Babylon. So Freeport's bus comes pulling up. About 60 giant guys get out with black capes on, coming off the bus. Unbeknownst to me, Tommy took the bolts off the metal door to our locker room. He said, "All right, Luke, take him out." I pushed as hard as I can, and the door came flying off the hinges. And the Freeport High School team saw this little hairy Italian guy flying through this open doorway. And we went out to the field. Mary Jo's cousin was our quarterback. And first play from scrimmage, ran a 72-yard touchdown, and we wound up winning 30-6. So, thank you, Tommy. To Mike Millay and Ted Peterson, my college lacrosse coaches, and Mike was also my football coach. Believe it or not, I am a coach, but I was very uncoachable as a player because I thought I knew everything. What do you know when you're 18 years old? Not much. To my teammates from West Babylon and Marist College, I think of you often, and as Mike said, and some of the other folks before me, you build lasting relationships with people. To my friends on the U.S. Lacrosse Youth Council, thank you. To Doug Horn, Lee Rainwater, Bobby Frost, Eric Rudolph, J.D. Humphreys, Mike Flanagan, Sonny Pieper, your desire and effort are unmatched. To our board of directors at Atlanta Youth Lacrosse, Tom Garr and Kathy Hasbrook, thank you for all your support the last 2 years. To my good friend Don Stoppenbach, who's always there for me in the good times and bad, I'm sure we'll share this stage soon. Unfortunately, Don can't be here tonight, and I told my in-laws that you get to sit with Don, and anybody that knows Don, he could talk the ears off a wooden Indian. To Mike Buckus and his wonderful wife Barbara, and their sons Michael, Patrick, and Sean, thanks for always being there, and thanks for always putting a smile on my face. I met Mike when I moved here in 1990. Mary Jo was pregnant with Katie. Gordon was 2. In 2 weeks, I saw a bumper sticker on a car that said, "Play lacrosse." Call the number. Mike picks up the phone. Chat for a little while. He says, "You want to play?" I said, "Yeah." So, okay, Saturday, meet me at the Waffle House on 285. I didn't know what the 285 was. And played a lacrosse game over in Birmingham. Got a chance to meet his brother. If you think Mike is big, you should see his brother. And that was quite an event that first weekend. And that's how I got involved in Atlanta. I'd like to thank my parents, Aldo and Lucille, who could not attend because my dad's a little ill. But thank you for everything. To my second parents, Barbara and Bill Lochran, for just being you and always being supportive, and for being fantastic grandparents. They're right over here. To my daughter Caitlin, for always putting up with my silly jokes and not allowing you to have a boyfriend that played lacrosse. We had a meeting. I gave them the rules of the road of this all-star team that we were on, and one of the rules was you can't date my daughter. Now, if you've ever had a daughter, sometimes they give you the silent treatment for no reason. And for 2 weeks, Katie really didn't talk to me. Finally, I confronted her. I'm like, "Kate, what's the deal?" "I'm never going to get a date, ever." "Why did you say that?"
Thanks, Dad.
But thank you, Katie. To my son, Gordon, you're my rock, and I admire you more than you know. I got lots of stories of Gordon, 2 very short ones. Gordon was an all-state defenseman at Pace Academy, and in the 5th grade he started playing, and he played defense. I played attack, and I figured, let him do what he wants to do. Next year, I'm like, "Gordon, you think you want to play a little offense this year?" And he says, "Nah, Dad, I'm going to stick to defense." I'm like, "Why is that?" He's like, "It's what you said last year." I couldn't even remember what I had for breakfast what I said last year. And he goes, "Score goals, get girls." I don't need that in my life right now. Gordon and Andy Halprin, who Andy is in the back there, he was my second son. We had, again, an all-star team, and I told Gordon, I said, "Listen, there's got to be guys on this team that don't like me very much, because I can be a bit of a pain in the neck sometimes." And I said, "You're going to hear them say things about me that you may not like. They're going to call me a jerk and a blank blank." He said, "Dad, I've been living with you for 16 years. I already know you're a jerk." To Mary Jo, my bride, without you, none of this is possible. You stayed with me for so long, in many trials and tribulations, and never faltered. Nothing I do or say can ever match what you have done for me. Happy birthday, and I love you. Lacrosse holds a special meeting for me, and there are so many people that I would like to thank, but time is not on my side. For almost 20 years, I've been involved in the Georgia lacrosse community, and when Mary Jo asked me what I would speak about tonight, one thing came into mind: the players, because that's what it's all about. Or what I sometimes say, the kids. Several years ago, when I was on the first Georgia Hall of Fame committee, I had mixed emotions because I did not feel our community was ready for a Hall of Fame. I struggled with it because we're not Long Island and we're not Baltimore. But now that this honor has been bestowed upon me, I'm glad we started a Hall of Fame. I sometimes feel like Kevin Bacon, aka 6 Degrees of Coach Corsetti. I've been involved in so many lacrosse programs as both a volunteer and as an entrepreneur from Atlanta to Wichita. I'm up here this evening because it's always been about the kids. Every waking moment regarding lacrosse has been about the kids. I've taught the game to literally thousands of players, and when I would get a call, "Lou, can you do a clinic in Peachtree City tomorrow?" I did it because of the kids. When I would go to work in the morning and stop off at Murphy Candler and push the water off the field at 6 a.m. in the morning, and Coach Buckus would say, "You're an idiot." It's for the kids. "Coach Lou, can you write a letter to so-and-so college for me?" "Sure, it's about the kids." "Lou, my son and daughter is trying to get into blank school. Can you write a letter of recommendation?" "Sure, it's about the kids." "Coach Lou, Coach K here from so-and-so college. Can you tell me about this kid we were recruiting?" "Sure, it's about the kids." Coach Buckus eloquently spoke about the tradition of history of lacrosse when he was initiated 2 years ago. And many of you in this room have reaped the rewards of many of us who have been honored tonight. I do hope in the future we will honor some of the female and male players that have graced our presence over the last 20 years. Coach Holtz, who's from Notre Dame, which I couldn't get into, but I did go to a Catholic Jesuit school. He once said, "If you want to be happy for an hour, eat a steak. If you want to be happy for a week, go on a cruise. If you want to be happy for a year, win the lottery. If you want to be happy for a lifetime, coach." In closing, I would like to thank Steve Senison, the President of U.S. Lacrosse, and the Hall of Fame Committee for this wonderful honor, as well as all the award recipients tonight. And last but not least, to all the players from Atlanta Youth Lacrosse and the entire Georgia community who I've had the privilege to teach the great game of lacrosse. Veronica said earlier, U.S. Lacrosse is a fantastic organization filled with wonderful people. If you are not a member, become one. After all, it's about the kids. In the immortal words of Yogi Berra, thank you for making this night necessary.